called polyamide. And the other is polyimide, PI with an I at the beginning. Maybe let me spend a couple of minutes on explaining how, these high-performance polymers and the fluoropolymers are, because you asked before about substitution and alternative polymers. So,
right.
So the peculiarity of the fluoropolymers is the chemical inertness. They are, especially the fully fluorinated polymers, they're really, really chemical resistant. And it's not the case for all the other polymers, because if they are hydrogen is more reactive. That's put in simple words. So if you look for chemical resistance, definitely you go for Teflon or PFA or FEP, fully fluorinated, and some partially fluorinated. Now, but fluoropolymers, actually also Teflon, has other properties which are very interesting. Teflon, for example, has low coefficient of friction, and low coefficient of friction is important for a number of applications. So, self-lubricated bearings, for example, is a typical example. You don't need to put any grease on bearings, but they are just, dry, low coefficient of friction, and they will last 10 years. That's why it's so attractive. There are other polymers which have also low coefficient of friction, but they are not Teflon. So basically the game is basically the combination, so that these materials have multiple properties. For example, Teflon has very low dialectical properties, good for electrical properties. So you can find other polymers which has also low dialectical properties, but they are not resistant to temperature like Teflon, or maybe they are not self-lubricated. So in a way, when you have to decide which polymer you start, listing what are the critical performance you want, and then you go to the handbook of these materials and, start to make ranking and, the possible, type of polymers. So again, there is no simple life. So in saying what are the competing polymers for the fluoropolymers. So basically at the end, so there are, yes, competitors, but 50% of the high performance polymers are fluorinated. So fluoropolymers still have a very important role. But for specific application, there is, the PEEK, for example, is gaining a lot of attention for implants because seems to have good mechanical properties and also good biocompatibility. Polyamides are very, very high temperature resistant, and they are maintaining relatively good mechanical properties also above the threshold, the highest temperature. So before failing, they keep mechanical properties, while the Teflon will just become soft. So it is basically there is a lot of technical know-how in selecting the polymers. And so basically what I see in the industry, there are these high-performance polymers, especially the polyamides and the like PEEK, which are gaining, they are growing, they are penetrating applications faster than fluoropolymers. But nevertheless, fluoropolymers, they have a nice place, and they will stay there for a long time because they have unique properties.
Okay, great. So I think we're getting through most of the questions here. I just want to find one. Well, I will write it in. So I'm interested about switching behavior, and I think I just need to ask this question in a general way and then see what direction you would take it. But let's imagine a customer that's buying a three-dimensional fluoropolymer product for a very critical application, and they have a preferred supplier. And then a second supplier comes to them and says,